A Columbia native, Edward Brown was inspired to be an artist while attending Howard County schools.
It's been over 20 years. I started when I was in junior high, really, is when I first became really interested in art. I went to Wild Lake High School. They had a really good art program there, so since I was a teenager, really.
Although most of his works are created in oils, Edward has recently begun working in another medium.
Recently, I started doing charcoals because the charcoals were a lot quicker to do. With charcoal, it's just on paper. I can hang the paper up and I can work on it immediately. I don't have to wait for things to dry. And the paper I use is very strong, so I can erase it and, you know, really get physical with it and work with it a lot. So I'm doing more charcoal recently than I am doing oil, but I primarily do oil.
Healthcare is in transition from the way we purchase healthcare, the way we pay for it, and the way our providers practice medicine. One of the things we need is advocacy. We as consumers need to understand our options. In Maryland, we are fortunate to have an Attorney General and staff who dedicate much of their time to improving healthcare practices and options. Their latest efforts became law January 1st, 1999. House Bill number 3. We're going to speak with Attorney General Joseph Curran about how this bill can help us. Welcome to Health Today.
Thanks for having me.
Attorney General Curran, you've been very supportive of legislation that protects citizens' health. The latest law, House Bill number 3, just went into effect January 1st, 1999. Explain House Bill number 3 to us.
When a health insurer or an HMO refuses to pay for a procedure or refuses to authorize the patient to have a specific procedure because it's not medically necessary or it's not covered by the HMO covered practices, the patient is denied the opportunity to get the procedure that the health doctor believes should be taken care of. What does the patient do? Well, if the insurance company turns you down, there's little or nothing they can do before January 1. Now, as of January 1, the HMO...
While working his way through college in Chicago, Jim found a summer job as an assistant chef, and that's where his interest in cooking utensils began.
There's so many wonderful shapes and sizes and textures and materials and everyday kitchen utensils, even restaurant supplies, that I saw this and I thought to myself, if I could alter this some way or even put it together in an unusual technique, that it could be interesting.
Sculpting with cooking utensils has been his fascination for the past 6 years, but it is his vocation as an electrical engineer that gives him an advantage over other sculptors.
One of the drawbacks of using this material, kitchen utensils, it comes in copper, it comes in silver, it comes in pewter, it comes in stainless steel, it comes in brass, whatnot, and to be able to join those different materials together takes a lot of different techniques, and sometimes I have to bolt them together with threaded rods and bolts or use rivets, sometimes epoxy, sometimes brazing, silver soldering, plain solder.
When people think of Baltimore, Maryland, the first things that come to mind are Cal Ripken Jr., steamed crabs, and of course, homicide, life on the streets.
It's a dream job for me to work with all the directors that I've been in contact with. It's an amazing list, and I'm very lucky to have these folks. It's incredible.
First AD Frank Farrow has been involved with the NBC hit series Homicide, Life on the Streets from the beginning. Could you define what is an AD?
Basically, to make sure everything the director wants is there for the filming. And I do the schedule. I put the schedule together, 7 days. And it's basically my responsibility when we come on set, everything is there. All the elements are in place. The props, the background, the extras. And I just oversee everything on the set and make sure everybody's basically doing their job. Once we get shooting, it's pretty simple. It's just the preparation is the most important part of the job.
How do you learn the role of a first AD? Where do you get your training?
It's something, as a production assistant, it trains you for. As a PA, the great thing about being a production assistant is that you never know which department you're going to be working on, especially on smaller jobs.